Welcome to Domain 4, Compliance. The best reference you have for this domain will be what you learned in your healthcare law and ethics class. Let's go over a bit. All right, here presented to you over the next several slides are the standards of ethical coding as set out by AHIMA, the American Health Information Management Association. All of these standards are important identifications of behaviors that are expected of health information management professionals. And it is important that you become familiar with what these standards expect from you. Not only are they standards that are logical and proper, but they also cover cases where you might be put in an awkward position, and so therefore you have this code of ethics to help you make the right decision. I can almost promise you that there are going to be at least one or two questions on the CCA that connect to this standards of ethical coding. So please make sure that you review these, and I'm pretty sure that they're also outlined in your textbook. You don't have to memorize them, but you should become comfortably familiar with them. Now, you will notice in this code of ethics is the phrase coding-related activities. And I thought, well, what are coding-related activities? So let's take a look at some descriptions of coded-related activities. Selection, research, and completion of code assignment. That's what we talked about, where you're going to abstract the physician's documentation and determine the correct code or codes to report. Very good. Okay. Querying and other health record data abstraction. I know we discussed querying in both Domain 1 and Domain 2. So by now, you should be familiar with the legal query process and its importance to the coding process and legal compliance. Data analytics and reporting with codes. You know, one of the great things about codes is that computers can analyze them so quickly and large amounts of them, providing us with analysis upon which we can then build a better and improved healthcare system. So that's very important. Coding audits, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on in this domain, but internal and external audits are very important for us to ensure that all the coding that's being done, the processes and the reporting are being done accurately. And then coding educational activities and functions. Mostly this relates to continuing education. And as you may have noticed with this certification, and you will certainly as you get more certifications as you build your education and your career, continuing education is so very, very important. And it's because both healthcare and technology move forward so quickly. There are so many new things that are happening and new and better ways of doing things that you cannot rest on your educational laurels. No, this is not like you have to go on to additional schooling. This is going to a conference or attending a webinar, reading an article in a journal. But they're all important things for you to keep your knowledge current and accurate as of today, not what happened 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever. All right, so in Domain 1, we talked about the different classification systems, and these also need to be updated every year, just like your education. All right, and here's what you need to know about these. ICD-10-CM and ICD-10-PCS update every year. October 1st is the effective date. CPT and HCPCS Level 2 update every year effective January 1st. I can almost guarantee that there will be at least one question where you're going to have to know these dates. So, know these dates. What do these code updates include? They include new codes for new procedures or services, or sometimes more details about a disease evolution, or perhaps even a whole new discovery of a disease itself. Deletions, they will actually remove codes that have been analyzed to not be used. Oh, well, nobody calls it that anymore. Or that has been eradicated, thank goodness, due to vaccines. So we don't need those codes anymore. And then sometimes they will revise or adjust the wording in a code description. It may be because previously it was awkward, or maybe it was too ambiguous, or they just clean it up a little bit. Audits, both internal and external audits, are very important. They're kind of like the tests that you have in school. What? Okay. Yeah, I know you hate tests, but the fact is that you're in school to learn new things, and it's a lot of things that you have to learn. And the only way we can measure if you're learning them is by giving you a test, okay? Audits are very similar in the fact that we're going to check everybody's work and make sure that the work being done in our healthcare facility is the best. It's legally being done. It's compliant. It's accurate. It is getting us optimal reimbursement. It is taking care of us and the facility and the patients, because that's what we're here to do. And, there are always external coding audits, which are usually performed by third-party payers and other government agencies to make sure that we are doing everything legally compliant and honest and ethical. And you, as a health information management professional, will possibly be involved in, at the very least, preparing for the arrival of the auditors or what to send to the auditors. So this is something you need to review in your textbook as well. Okay, if you have any questions, please post them to the discussion board or send your instructor an email. I promise, if you have a question, so do 5 other people.